crisp 34 degrees in Kansas City. Before we kick it off, let's go down to the field. The Dell Report with Jenny Dell.
Well, Ian, it was a Christmas to remember for Chase Daniel. Head coach Andy Reid gave the team the day off, so Chase spent it with his in-laws. I had a nice day full of festivities, put his phone to the side, some good family time he was looking for. Afterwards, he checked his phone, had 2 missed calls from head coach Andy Reid. His wife had 2 missed calls from Tammy, who's Andy's wife. He automatically knew something was going on. So he called Reid back, realized the situation with Alex Smith, went into practice on Friday, had just 1 practice with the first team, but told me that he was confident coming into today's game.
And Jenny, it's a golden opportunity for Daniel and for Phillip Rivers and the Chargers. It's simple. Get the win and you're in the playoffs for the 2nd consecutive year. What Phillip Rivers has done in week 17 starts. 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. We know how good this team has been, Dan, on the road in December. 15-2 since 2006, the year Rivers took over.
Yeah, he credits the character and makeup of this year's team. A good mix of veterans who set the example for the younger players.
So 1st and 10. Kansas City won the toss and deferred, so the Chargers open up. Handed off to Oliver. He's got a running lane. Oliver stutter steps his way to a strong gain on 1st down. Good enough for a 1st down for San Diego. Fluker with the block. Offensive line changes. Injuries to Watt and Troutman. Trevor Robinson and Jeremiah Searle start at center and right guard. Malcolm Floyd, first time in his career he has started all 16 games in a single season. Floyd has remained healthy this year and has produced with 827 receiving yards. Rivers on a give. Once again, it's Oliver. Oliver. Good block from Fluker again as he runs into Maga for a 6-yard pickup. Defensively for Kansas City, Poe is going to the Pro Bowl for the 2nd consecutive year. They've got Pro Bowlers as bookends at linebacker, Houston and Ali. What a 1-2 punch rushing the quarterback. And Jamel Fleming getting the start for the injured Phillip Gaines, who's out with flu-like symptoms. 2nd and 4. Give it to Oliver again. This time Kansas City is ready for him. And they limit the rookie to a 1-yard pickup. Alan Bailey wraps him up for KC.
It's pretty obvious that the Chargers are going to try and take some steam out of the 2 outside linebackers you talked about, Ian, Ali and Houston. Both runs, all 3 runs, have been targeted right at those 2 outstanding pass rushers.
Mike McCoy, playoffs in his 1st year, chance to do it again in his 2nd year. The San Diego team is 9-6 after a 38-35 thriller in overtime against San Francisco last Saturday. Eddie Royal is in. He sets up to the side of Rivers on a 3rd and 3. Rivers will put it in the air for the first time. Knocked down. 4th down for San Diego, and it is Houston.
Yeah, Houston, 6'3", very athletic, number 50 here working against DJ Fluker. Watch his right hand go up in the air and just swat that ball. Lucky this ball wasn't picked off by Ali on the other side, or Ali might have walked into the end zone.
San Diego got off to a slow start offensively against San Francisco, had to battle back, trailed 28-7 at the half. Veteran Matt McBriar will punt it. Mike Cypress put on injured reserve with a shoulder injury. The dangerous DeAnthony Thomas waiting for him. In traffic, Thomas doesn't take the fair catch. And the ball is jarred loose, but the play was whistled dead. Darryl Stuckey, first man downfield for San Diego, 43-yard punt. Chase Daniel, his 2nd NFL start. We'll see him next when we come back. 28-year-old Chase Daniel, an undrafted free agent back in 2009, spent time in New Orleans before getting signed by Kansas City. On the shovel pass, he connects for a 4-yard pickup to Jamal Charles, replacing the injured Alex Smith, out with a lacerated spleen, was feeling discomfort during the week and has been told that it will heal on its own, but it's about a 6-week injury.
2nd down and 7 from the 24-yard.
So 2nd and 6. Kansas City still alive mathematically for a playoff spot, but they need a Baltimore and Houston loss. Off the boot, Avant has room down the sideline, and he's got a first down. So just like that, Kansas City moving the ball quickly. That's a 7-yard pickup. Starting offense for the Chiefs. Rodney Hudson's the leader on this offensive line. He's had a Pro Bowl type of season for Kansas City. Backs and receivers, Travis Kelce, a major weapon. 60 catches, 778 yards, and 5 touchdowns in his second year for the Chiefs. Line of scrimmage is now just across the 30-yard line. We are under 12 minutes to go in the first quarter. Kansas City has dropped 4 of its last 5. Jamal Charles had 95 yards in the first meeting between these two teams. Week 7, it was a victory for the Chiefs. Defensively for San Diego, Sean Lismore had the big fumble recovery in overtime that helped set up San Diego to get the win against San Francisco. Manti Te'o, his first NFL sack last week against the 49ers. And in the secondary, Brandon Flowers spent the first 6 years of his career as a member of the Kansas City Chiefs, a second-round pick of the Chiefs back in 2008 out of Virginia Tech. Daniel keeps it himself across the 40-yard line and very close to a first down. Brought down by Eric Weddle. That's a different dynamic that Daniel brings to the field.
Well, University of Missouri fans saw this a lot in his career there with the Tigers. It's the read option. Watch how he operates here, faking to Charles, and then going and getting the first down with a head-first dive.
His senior year at Missouri, 4,335 yards, 39 touchdowns, 18 picks. So a new set of downs for Kansas City to work with. Give it to Charles. Looks for an opening. Good second effort. They couldn't bring him down, and then the second wave for Charles leads to a 5-yard pickup. Legit with a hit.
5 yards is what he averages. This year, 5.1, 5.5 for his career because of effort like that. Very difficult to stop with just one tackler because of how he moves his legs after contact. Good balance and a good 5-yard gain.
Voted to his 4th career Pro Bowl. Andy Reid, his second year as the head coach of the Chiefs, 16th year overall as a head man in the NFL. Signed a 5-year deal with this franchise. Give it to Thomas. DeAnthony Thomas, blazing speed rookie out of Oregon, and they can use him in a variety of ways. It's an 18-yard rip for Thomas.
Well, watch the blocking here up front as Thomas comes and gets the quick handoff from Chase Daniel. Good job that time by Ryan Harris there, and then the quickness in the open field by the former Oregon Duck.
We asked Andy Reid about Thomas. He said, they've thrown a lot at him. It's a tribute to the kid. He keeps learning. He said running back coach Eric Bieniemy has really played a big role in his development. First down, Daniel sets and throws. Hauled in. Connects with Bo. And another Kansas City first down. That one covers 12 yards.
Now, Daniel told us yesterday he wants to be able to set a fast tempo to start the game and dictate to the Chargers how the game's to be played. Said it won't be easy against Charger defensive coordinator John Pagano. Daniel refers to Pagano as a jump ball coordinator. Very creative and unpredictable when he wants to bring the blitzes in situations. But this is a tremendous start. 3 for 3 for Daniel.
Running play, Charles. Hit from behind and could not get around the likes of Connor. And Charles, a little slow to get up. Charles is not 100%. Andy Reid said he's been banged up. If you look at the numbers from Jamal Charles in recent weeks, he's just not getting a lot of carries, a lot of touches. And clearly limping as he heads back to the huddle. Charles is nursing a combination hamstring and ankle injury.
Yeah, watch the back of his ankles there. Corey Legit brings him down, and that forces Charles to the sideline.
Charles lost the ball at the end of the play, quickly brought it back in. 2nd and 9. Daniel underneath, setting it up for Thomas. And he is spun down behind the line of scrimmage by Gilchrist. It's a loss of 5 on the play.
You get an idea of what Andy Reid wants to do against the Charger defenses. Get him to get the ball to the perimeter, whether it's Charles or Thomas or Chase Daniel on the read option. Very few plays have gone right at this Charger defense.
San Diego last week gave up 355 rushing yards to the 49ers, a San Francisco record. 3rd and 14. Daniel, the throw to Kelsey, the fake, and he'll come up short of a first down. 8-yard pickup. Matthews combining with Weddle. Eric Weddle going to the Pro Bowl once again. And it's 4th down for Kansas City. They'll have to settle for a field goal attempt.
Kelsey, the leading receiver for Kansas City this year, now has 61. The Chiefs compare him to Rob Gronkowski with his size, 6'5", 260, and his ability to run after the catch.
Cairo Santos, the rookie out of Tulane, Lou Groza Award winner in 2012, had 4 field goals last week in the 20-12 loss in Pittsburgh. This is a 38-yard attempt. He hit a 48-yarder with 21 seconds left in the first meeting to help seal the win for Kansas City against San Diego. Flag comes down. Field goal was good, but
False start.
Number 61 offense, 5-yard penalty remains. 4th down.
And first time we're hearing from Pete Moreeeee. So the false start will back it up. Rodney Hudson, 4th-year center out of Florida State.
It's always tough when your snapper double clutches there, but he was not the snapper on that play. Playing it right tackle.
So Thomas Gafford, the snapper. 43-yard attempt. Kansas City trying to get on the board here at the 6:38 mark of the first. Santos. It's perfect. Chiefs lead 3-0 in the opening quarter. Long drive for Chase Daniel and the Chiefs. They settle for 3.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Bank of America. And by the Lincoln Wish List event. Visit your Lincoln showroom today.
Back in the home of the Chiefs, 11 plays, 54 yards. It took 6 minutes and 26 seconds. Chase Daniel was 5 of 5 on the drive for 25 yards, 7 yards on the ground. Santos with the 43-yard field goal and a 3-0 lead for Kansas City. Santos will kick it off. Chris Davis is the deep man for San Diego. For the Chargers, a win and they're in. Kansas City needs a win and a Baltimore loss to Cleveland and a Houston loss to Jacksonville to qualify. Over the shoulder catch, and Davis is not going to take it out of the end zone. Chargers will have it at the 20, trailing 3-0 on the road in Kansas City. Tomorrow on CBS, the only thing smarter than a genius is a whole team of them. Check out the new hit drama that critics are calling a wild ride. Don't miss Scorpion. That's tomorrow at 9, 8 Central, only CBS. 3-0 lead for the Chiefs. San Diego 1st and 10 at its own 20-yard line. Brandon Oliver in the backfield with David Johnson. Hand it to Oliver, and he is hit with a flag down. No gain on the play. Tamba Ali firing through to make the stop. Pete Moreeeee sorting it out. .628 mark of this first quarter. San Diego 11-3 in its last 14 games against Kansas City. Phillip Rivers getting involved.
The illegal motion against the Chargers.
Illegal shift. Offense, 5-yard penalty remains. First down.
It was Eddie Royal coming in motion, did not get set. And was actually moving towards the line of scrimmage when the ball was snapped. Rivers is going to call him over to the right side of the formation. Watch, the ball is snapped and Royal moving towards the line of scrimmage.
So a 1st and 15 for San Diego. Dime package here for Kansas City. Owens and Coleman are in. Working out of the gun, Rivers. Rivers Sets up the short pass to Oliver. Drives across the 20. Maga first man there. NFL Today update. JB and Boomer in New York.
Iron Texans are hopeful. Hey guys, Houston's 4th quarterback of the year. That's Case Keenum going to throw a ball out to Arian Foster. He's going to take it in for the touchdowns. Texans take an early 7-0 lead. J.J. Watt just sacked and forced a fumble. Texans are all over the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Back to Ian, Dan, and Jenny.
And that is not good news, guys, for the Kansas City Chiefs, who need a Houston loss to Jacksonville and a Baltimore loss to Cleveland to stay in the playoff hunt. 2nd and 9 here for San Diego. Dealing with 2 newcomers on the offensive line, Robinson and Searles. Deep ball, over the shoulder grab. Eddie Royal, great concentration. Working against Chris Owens, and Rivers drops it in the bucket for 30 yards.
And it's a beautiful throw over the shoulder. As you can see, Royal's speed gets behind the defensive back there. And Owens just cannot make a play on the ball. A perfectly thrown pass by Phillip Rivers.
AFC Offensive Player of the Week, Rivers, 33 of 54, 356 yards, 4 touchdowns and 3 picks against San Francisco. Oliver makes a cut and able to get 3 yards on the pickup. Hit down low by Ali.
He was tackled by Tamba Ali.
Talking to Phillip Rivers yesterday, he said he's feeling a lot better. Still has the bulging disc and sore ribs, but said he practiced all week. He says, I feel good, and he looks good.
You were going at him with those questions, rat-a-tat-tat, about his physical health and whether or not he's going to need surgery.
Well, I'm not a doctor, but sometimes I play one on Sundays.
And this Sunday in particular with Phillip, give to Oliver up the middle. Not much there. Maga limits him to a 2.5-yard gain. Injured or not, Phillip Rivers in December has been incredible. 15-2 on the road in December in his career. McMahon, Montana, Brady, and Darryl LaMonica on that list.
That's a fantastic number. Playing on the road in these hostile environments here in Kansas City, where the noise, as Phillip told us yesterday, is going to be playoff-style noise.
Ronnie Brown is in, the veteran. He stepped forward last week. Now in his 10th year in the league. Brown had a couple of big plays against San Francisco. This is a 3rd and 4. Rivers in trouble. Rivers is sacked. It's a combination. D. Ford, the rookie out of Auburn, getting there with Maga.
Yeah, the #1 pick, number 55, picks up his 2nd sack of the year. Look at the speed as he runs right by Ronnie Brown. Brown trying to pick up 2 guys. Josh Maga, big play for the Kansas City defense.
San Diego forced to punt once again with McBriar. Anthony Thomas, who does have a return for a touchdown this season, an 81-yard punt return, is waiting for it. End over end. Thomas circling, going the other way. Thomas trampled down as flags fly at the 12-yard line. 10-yard return, 42-yard punt. Darryl Stuckey on special teams.
Yeah, because if Thomas reversing his field, it really makes it difficult for his blockers. And this apparently is going to be a block in the back.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 24, the receiving team, half the distance to the goal, 1st down, and timeout.
Kelsey McCray called on the penalty. Phillip Rivers has dealt with some heat here in the chilly Kansas City area. 1st quarter action.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly. And by Papa John's, official pizza sponsor of the NFL.
Chase Daniel and the Kansas City Chiefs pinned deep in their own territory, leading 3-0. And a give. Charles up the middle. Charles creates some room to work with. That's a 9-yard pickup.
Go back to the first drive for the Chiefs. A little shovel pass to Jamal Charles for 3 yards from Daniels. Then the bootleg gets outside and hits a Vonk for 7. And then the read option picks up 7 yards on the ground. Good confident start for Chase Daniel. 5 for 5 and he's hit 5 different receivers.
Daniel, who backed up Breeze in New Orleans, learned a great deal from Drew Brees, how to be a pro. Flip it to the outside, first down catch for Kelsey. Kansas City will move the chains. Let's head to New York. JB Boomer, NFL Today update.
4th and goal at the 1.
Well, John Harbaugh rolls the dice right here. He's playing against Connor Shaw, a rookie quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, their 3rd quarterback. The Cleveland Brown defense says, no way, Justin Forsett, you're not getting in there. Game still tied, 0-0.
Woo, Ian and Dan.
And a lot can still happen in the AFC the way things are set up. Baltimore clinches with a victory and a San Diego loss here to Kansas City. Daniel on time, out to midfield. Kelsey loses the ball at the end of the play, but it was whistled down. Marcus Gilchrist came away with a loose ball, but it's a 14-yard completion.
You can see Kelsey lining up wide, running the crossing route. How about this pass right on target? Kelsey back-to-back catches, and in 3 plays, the Chiefs go from inside their 10 all the way out to the 49-yard line. Good pass protection that time for Chase Daniel.
Travis Kelsey, only tight end in the NFL to lead his team in receiving, yards, catches, and touchdowns. Daniel steps up. He's got room and some speed. Chase Daniel has been impressive here in the first quarter. 9-yard pickup for Daniel. San Diego having a tough time containing him.
And this is against a zone coverage. Watch the linebackers. Gachkar just drop into a zone here. Normally when a quarterback runs and has success on the ground, it's against man-to-man coverage when the linebackers are clearing out and playing their responsibilities. But that shows you the speed of Chase Daniel that time, running by Gachkar.
Kansas City only 39 rushing yards last week in the loss to Pittsburgh, already with 52 today. 2nd and 1. Charles works his way inside for a 2-yard pickup. Low to the ground. Charles fights for the necessary yardage. And it's a first down for Kansas City, the final play of this first quarter. Chiefs with a 3-0 lead on San Diego, and they're threatening. We'll return to KC after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS, the regular season finale. Playoff scenarios for these two teams here in Week 17. San Diego, a win, and they're in the postseason. Kansas City needs a win, a Baltimore loss, and a Houston loss to qualify. Phillip Rivers last week had some magical moments once again for the Chargers in their come-from-behind victory against San Francisco. Niall Davis is in. Davis takes it to the perimeter, and he's out of bounds inside the 30. It's another first down. Good block by Rodney Hudson. Get the fastest football scores and updates with the CBS Sports app, the fastest app for sports fans. Download the CBS Sports app now.
Rodney Hudson from his center position pulled out in front of Niall Davis that time and got him a key block that was set up well by Davis, and now this drive continues inside the 30 for the Chiefs.
Start of the second quarter, Kansas City 3, San Diego nothing. Chase Daniel is 7 of 7, and they've mixed in the run nicely. Davis right up the gut for 5 yards.
The Chiefs have only had 1 negative play. That was the quick screen pass to DeAnthony Thomas that lost 5 yards, but you can see the power of Niall Davis, 227 pounds, lowering his head and picking up about 6, about 4 that time, or 5.
Really any of the above.
It was a good run.
2nd and 5. 8th play of the drive for Kansas City. Shotgun for Daniel. And a flag thrown.
Flag on the play.
Could have been some movement on the right side.
Yeah,
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 54. 5-yard penalty remains. 2nd down.
The smart play here is by Ryan Harris. Is watch Ingram jump. He could have gotten back, but Harris recognizes it and goes out there and tags him. Tag, you're it, and you're offsides.
Ingram explaining himself to John Pagano on the sideline.
No, that sets up just a quarterback's dream situation. 2nd and less than a yard.
So pick your poison here if you're Kansas City. With a 3-0 lead. Daniel pats the ball, throws, incomplete. Albert Wilson will get the flag. The rookie out of Georgia State, the intended receiver. He and Daniel have excellent chemistry, worked together on the scout team quite a bit this year.
And Sharice Wright came in a little bit too soon, and we'll get the call for pass interference.
Pass interference, number 25. Defense, automatic, first down.
Watch the right hand there as he grabs the right arm of Wilson. Ball thrown perfectly, but the interference there creates the incompletion. But another back-to-back penalties on the Chargers, and the Chiefs now inside the 15.
Remember, Kansas City does not have a touchdown to a wide receiver this season. This is a 1st and 10 at the San Diego 19. 4 receiver set. Out of the gun. Daniel throws it underneath. Catch made by Thomas and quickly hit. Let's head to New York. Busy day for JB and Boomer.
Turnovers hurt.
That's right, Case Keenum, inaccurate throw right here to his intended receiver right over the middle. That's Wayne Grotz. He's going to take this ball back. 55-yard interception return for a touchdown. Jacksonville takes a 10-7 lead over the Texans.
Ian and Dan.
Well, it's going to be interesting how this day unfolds with all these teams involved. And both Kansas City and San Diego are included in that. Here's that Marcus Gilchrist is the injured Charger. We'll step aside. Marcus Gilchrist heading to the locker room. A right arm injury for Gilchrist on the previous play. So Jaleel Adai is in at safety. Chris Davis is the nickel for San Diego. It's a 2nd and 7 for Kansas City. 3-0 lead for the Chiefs. Shotgun. Daniel finds the open man. Ball pops loose at the goal line. Kelsey comes up with it. Dwayne Bowe breaks the plane. Touchdown, Kansas City.
I'll put this in the time capsule. First touchdown reception by a wide receiver the entire season. Little hook route here. Bowe tackled by Weddle and hit right there by Adai. And if he had fumbled forward, Kelsey was there for the touchdown anyway. He does not break the plane here, but the officials called it a touchdown, and we have another Charger injured. That's a die. So 2 safeties and back-to-back plays. Marcus Gilchrist in the locker room. And now Adai needs help getting off the field.
They will review it. All scoring plays are reviewed, so they'll take a look to see whether or not Bowe got in on his own. Right now it's 9-0.
After reviewing the play, the receiver fumbled the ball and it was recovered by a teammate in the end zone for a touchdown.
All right, so Kansas City gets the touchdown, but Bowe does not. So the streak continues for the Chiefs. No touchdowns to a wide receiver this season. There's the play from Bowe losing the ball.
Yeah, Adai knocks it out before Bowe's backside hits the ground. So the ball is a free ball, and Kelsey with one hop has a touchdown. And Bowe's happy about that.
Happy about the touchdown, but it doesn't belong to him. Santos on for the extra point. Kansas City with a 10-0 lead. Chase Daniel is 9 of 9 in this first half. The Chiefs trying to stay alive in the playoff picture.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. The Dodge Brothers. 100 years later, their spirit lives on. And by Intuit QuickBooks, supporters of small businesses and all the ways they own it.
Chiefs go 9 plays, 94 yards. It takes 4 minutes and 39 seconds. Kelsey, the fumble recovery for a touchdown as Bowe coughed it up inside the 1. Santos kicks it off. And a roller picked up by the up man at the 19-yard line, Torrey Williams. Brought down at the 30. That's where San Diego will have it after the 12-yard return. So this streak still alive for Kansas City. No touchdowns for wide receivers this season. They came within 6 inches of snapping it.
Yeah, I guess we can open that time capsule and take this one out. Fortunate bounce for Kansas City. How about the balance that they've shown in their 2 drives? 141 yards of total offense, 72 passing on 9 passes, 69 rushing on 10 runs.
And San Diego in a hole once again. They faced this in Baltimore, came from behind, got the win late last week against San Francisco. Rallied for the victory. Rivers, drop ball. Dontrell Inman, who didn't drop anything last week. His first NFL catches came last week. The 2-year CFL veteran had 7 grabs for 79 yards against the 49ers.
Well, he lets the ball get all the way into his body instead of reaching out for it with his hands. You remember what he did last week? He was snatching the ball out of the air against the 49ers. That time, a low pass should have been caught.
San Diego converted on a 4th and 8 and a 4th and 10 in the Chargers' final drive in regulation. Eventually got the touchdown to Floyd to tie it, and then the field goal from Novak to win it in overtime. Play clock is down to 1. San Diego wasn't lined up right.
Yeah, Dontrell Inman obviously in the wrong spot. Rivers trying to get him to the right side of the formation. It was forced to call a timeout. That will draw a quarterback's ire.
12:38 left. Adai is heading to the locker room for San Diego. Shotgun for Rivers on a 2nd and 10. Fake the handoff. Rivers throws. Catch made out across the 40. Eddie Royal, who had such a big role in that win against San Francisco. 13-yard pickup for Royal. He had 10 catches, 94 yards, and a touchdown against the 49ers.
He's got 2 so far for 43 yards. Great quickness after the catch. Turn upfield and get the first down.
San Diego working quickly here. Line of scrimmage just short of the 45. Rivers is 3 of 5 for 49 yards. We've got 12 minutes to play in this first half. Give it to Oliver. Brandon Oliver, acceleration into Kansas City territory. Effective run by Oliver. DJ Fluker with another key block, and it turns it into a 9-yard gain.
Well, watch Ron Parker come up here and hit Oliver, but Oliver is going to keep his legs going and pull right out of that tackle.
Ryan Matthews missing his 3rd consecutive game with a right ankle injury. That's a 2-yard pickup for Oliver. Good enough for a first down. Seven carries, 35 yards for Oliver. In the first meeting between these two teams, he had 15 carries for 67 yards. That was week 7, a 23-20 win for Kansas City in San Diego. Empty backfield. Inman is the motion man. Out of the gun, deep drop. Rivers steps, throws, separation. Eddie Royal with the catch. And Royal diving for the pylon. He won't get there. But it'll be 1st and goal for San Diego. Owens and Fleming back there for Kansas City.
A nice double move by Royal. A little out and up right here. Good design there. As Floyd goes to the post, he takes with him Jamel Fleming. And behind Owens goes Eddie Royal for 44 yards and right to the doorstep.
It's 1st and goal for San Diego at the Kansas City 1.
Really like the design of that pass play. Floyd clearing it out for Royal on the double move.
Oliver in the backfield. Motion man is Green. Rivers on a give. Oliver untouched. Touchdown, San Diego. So the Chargers are on the board here in the 2nd quarter.
Well, let's check out the rookie. Jeremiah Searles at right guard here. Watch as he's going to lead the way for this walk-in as he takes care of Jay Howard, pins him to the inside, and Oliver has his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season. 69 yards in just 6 plays. Eddie Royal and Rivers getting it done big time.
Nick Novak on for the extra point. Actually kicked in 6 games for Kansas City back in 2009. San Diego cuts into the Kansas City lead. 10-7, the big play, the veteran, Eddie Royal. Royal and Rivers, that relationship continues to grow, and then they cash in the rookie Oliver for pay dirt. 6 plays, 69 yards. It took just 2 minutes for San Diego to move down the field. Oliver, the 1-yard touchdown. 10-7, Kansas City leading the Chargers. Last season, the Chargers clinched a playoff spot with a 27-24 overtime win against Kansas City in Week 17. That was at Qualcomm. Nick Novak will kick it off to Niall Davis. Davis averaging 28.7 yards per return. He's got a touchdown and a 99-yard kickoff return this season.
The big question for the Charger defense is the health of Jaleel Adai and Marcus Gilchrist. Both are still in the locker room. That means the Chargers just have 6 defensive backs.
On the kick from Novak. Davis is going to take it out of the end zone. Davis trampled down at the 25-yard line. Coming up tonight on A New Undercover Boss, a restaurant owner goes undercover to find out what's cooking with his employees. New Undercover Boss, that's tonight only CBS. 3-point lead for Kansas City. Chase Daniel is still perfect. 9 of 9, 72 yards, and Daniel has 16 yards rushing. Doesn't have a touchdown, though. Remember, that Kelsey touchdown is a recovery. Was inches away from a touchdown to Dwayne Bowe. 1st and 10, just short of the 25. Fake the handoff. Daniel puts it in the air. Incomplete. Bowe, the intended receiver. First incompletion for Daniel as we send a downstairs injury update with Jenny Dell.
Well, Dan, you just mentioned it. Both Chargers strong safeties in the locker room currently. It looked like Marcus Gilchrist went in there with a right arm injury, and Jaleel Adai also went in a few minutes ago. I'll update you as soon as I find out what's going on.
Well, Darryl Stuckey is in there now, along with the Pro Bowler Eric Weddle. Mike McCoy's team has dealt with so many injuries. Just the center spot alone is a story in and of itself for San Diego. Charles didn't have anything one way and then slips down as Jarrett Johnson makes sure he couldn't get up. Loss of 3 on the play.
That may have been a misread by Chase Daniel. If he keeps this ball, he goes around the right corner here. And the Chargers doing a great job of not only penetration, but Jarrett Johnson. I think he fooled Chase Daniel on that play. Got in on the tackle.
Sets up 3rd and long now for Kansas City. Shotgun for Daniel. Daniel throws. Incomplete. Intended receiver, Avant. Pressure coming from Dwight Freeney.
Avant on a hook route over the middle against the zone here. Settles down, ball thrown slightly behind him, but that's the type of catch that Jason Avant has made throughout his career. Very athletic and acrobatic receiver, and it's 3 and out for the Chiefs offense, and you can feel the momentum swinging to the San Diego sideline.
And it's Eddie Royal, the return man for San Diego, the punt from Dustin Colquitt. Royal backpedals. He's got plenty of room, though. Starting from the 17. Royal makes his move. Flag down. Dropped at the 29-yard line by Zombo on special teams. 59-yard punt and a 13-yard return. Flag is at the 23.
During a return, illegal block in the back, number 25, the receiving team. 10-yard penalty, 1st down, and timeout.
It's Darryl Stuckey called on the penalty. San Diego will have the football. 9:44 to play in the 2nd quarter. We're back to Kansas City after this.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Pepsi. Hype your hometown with Pepsi at Pepsi.com/halftime. And by FedEx One Rate. Simple flat rate shipping with the reliability of FedEx.
First 3 possessions for San Diego, couple of punts, touchdown drive, a pretty quick one from the Chargers last time out. Big play came to Eddie Royal. And a give for Donald Brown. Over the middle, Brown with a gain of 6 for San Diego. Kevin Vickerson injured for Kansas City, a calf injury. His return is questionable, and now DJ Fluker is down for San Diego. Trevor Robinson is in at center. Jeremiah Searles in at right guard, and Willie Smith would slide over and play right tackle in the absence of Fluker.
Yeah, the Chargers' Johnny Troutman got hurt last week. Their right guard against the 49ers.
Knee injury for Troutman. He had started all 15 games.
Here is Fluker, 76. And again, it's one of those situations. Guy's doing his job, doing a good job blocking his man, but then gets rolled up from behind on the ankles, and you wonder about the knee in that situation. Just bad luck.
And Jaleel Adai is now jogging from the locker room back to the San Diego sideline. So Adai makes his return. He was tested for a concussion. Injuries continue to be a big part of the story for San Diego. We're coming back. DJ Fluker just walked gingerly to the San Diego sideline. Looked to be a right knee issue. Willie Smith is the backup, former Oakland Raider, and played with Washington as well. He's in at right tackle. 2nd and 5 for San Diego. Royal, the motion man. 3-point lead for Kansas City. We approach 9 minutes to go first half. Running play to Donald Brown. And the pile is pushed out across the 20-yard line. Very close to a first down for Brown. Maga in on that stop for Kansas City.
Yeah, real good double team that time between Willie Smith and Jeremiah Searles. And Brown got right in behind them to pick up the first down.
So they move the chains. 1st and 10 at the San Diego 22.
Willie Smith, very valuable backup, can play both sides, left and right tackle for San Diego.
Undrafted free agent in 2011. First down for San Diego. Take the handoff. Flag is down. David Johnson with just his 2nd catch of the season. Johnson banked forward across the 30-yard line, but the penalty marker is down at the 14.
Holding. Number 78 offense. 10-yard penalty remains. First down.
It's the veteran Chad Reinhardt on the left side of the San Diego offensive line.
And after that play, left tackle King Dunlap was limping around as he's trying to keep Tamba Hali away from Phillip Rivers. But penalties really hurting the Chargers as much as their injuries are.
Dunlap has quietly had an outstanding season protecting the blind side of Phillip Rivers.
Can a guy 6'9", 330 be quiet?
He's done it.
Done a great job.
Donald Brown in the backfield. 1st and 20 now. They give it to Brown. Brown circling to the outside. And angles out of bounds. Justin Houston did not allow him to get upfield. No gain on the play.
Yeah, Houston fights off the block of Willie Smith. Really an athletic outside linebacker. Watch as he stones Smith right there and has enough speed to force Brown out of bounds.
We asked Houston about the 18 sacks this season. He says, I don't really remember the sacks. I remember the ones that should have been sacks. The ones I didn't get where the quarterback just got rid of it. So it shows you where his mindset is. Rushing the passer. 2nd and 20 now for San Diego. From the gun, Rivers in trouble. Rivers is dumped. Back at the 6-yard line, Rivers goes down. Houston, first man there. Loss of 6, Hali contributing.
Well, left side of the screen comes Houston, right side is Hali. But Houston grabs him first. Hali jumps on his back. And they split this sack.
On a 3rd and 26, the awkward handoff to Brown. San Diego goes conservative, not taking any chances deep in its own territory, and the Chargers will punt after the 6-yard pickup.
Now, Rivers saw the Chiefs had 12 men on the field, was trying to get the ball snapped early to catch the Chiefs and pick up a free 5 yards.
And Fluker is heading to the locker room for San Diego. More bad news for the Chargers. D'Anthony Thomas will be the return man at the 42-yard line. And a player being escorted, Kelsey McCray, to the sideline for Kansas City.
Yeah, the side judge came out and saw him in some discomfort here. Alerted the sideline of the Chiefs to take a look at McCray.
It's a long walk here in Kansas City. If you're the opposing team, to get to the locker room. Fluker's still not to the tunnel. Fryer punting. Didn't get all of it. Thomas moves forward, catches cleanly in San Diego territory. Looking for the sideline. D'Anthony Thomas brought down inside the 10. D'Anthony Thomas, who also ran track at Oregon. We just saw the sprinter speed.
And we saw a real poor punt that time by McBriar here. Ball caught at the 50-yard line, and the speed to get around the corner. 37-yard punt with very little hang time, a 41-yard return, and the Chiefs have flipped the field on the San Diego Chargers.
The Chiefs are set up nicely at the 8 with just over 6 minutes to go in this first half. 3 tight ends in this formation. Kelsey, Fasano, Gordon on first and goal. It's a give for Charles. Stacked up after picking up 3 yards for KC.
Chiefs coming with 3 tight ends that time. Fasano, Kelsey, and Richard Gordon. And that's where Jamal Charles' play was designed to run. It's just to the 5-yard line. Chargers with wholesale substitutions. 5 new defenders come in.
Second and goal for Kansas City from the 5. Chiefs trying to extend their lead. Motion man is Kelsey. Shotgun. Daniel is sacked. Back at the 12, Dwight Freeney, the veteran.
A great job by Freeney coming around the corner here. Beats the block of Eric Fisher. 111 and a half sacks for the 13-year veteran from Syracuse.
This defense run by John Pagano. These players play hard for Pagano and really admire his spirit and his approach. Third and goal for Kansas City. Shotgun for Daniel. Daniel throws into a crowd. Dwayne Bowe with the catch, but he's brought down short of the goal line. 8-yard pickup. It's 4th down for the Chiefs.
And that shows you just how critical that sack was by Freeney. The Chiefs, who do not throw the ball down the field very often, a lot of short slant routes, as this one is in a real crowd. Fabulous catch by Bowe as he's hit by Weddle and Flowers.
Cairo Santos on for a chip shot from 21 yards away for Kansas City. Converted on a 43-yard field goal in the first quarter. And he connects. Kansas City 13, San Diego 7. Dwight Freeney, big sack on second and goal to move the Chiefs back, and then Kansas City has to settle for the field goal. Celebrate America's greatest stars at the Kennedy Center with performances by Bruno Mars, Bruce Springsteen, and Lady Gaga. Stephen Colbert hosts Tuesday at 9, 8 Central, only CBS. Pivotal play from the San Diego defense to force Kansas City into a field goal attempt as opposed to a 3rd and goal from tight range inside the 5.
Chiefs really wasted a great punt return by D'Anthony Thomas. Eric Fisher getting beat by Freeney. It just changes your entire play selection. You can see on this short slant route, the Chiefs couldn't get in the end zone.
Cairo Santos kicks it off. Chris Davis, the return man, and it is returnable. Davis could not get by the 23, but a face mask as Davis was jarred at the 23-yard line.
Yeah,
Personal
James
foul,
Michael
grabbing
Johnson.
the face mask, number 35. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
They called West, but I think you nailed it, Dan.
But, you know, it was not a face mask. Actually, it was inside the shoulder
There's
pad.
no foul on the play.
So they just chatted about it and said no penalty. Did Johnson? Yep, he got it underneath.
Yep, right. And the reaction by Davis makes you think it's a face mask, but you know what that is? That's a horse collar tackle because his hand is inside the shoulder pad there. So that should be a penalty anyway.
San Diego will have it at the 23-yard line. They have 3 minutes and 50 seconds to work with. They trail 13-7 in the second quarter. They only had 69 rushing yards in the first meeting with Kansas City. They have 52 yards on the ground in this first half. Oliver tack on some more as Oliver crosses the 30-yard line. Very close to a first down. Trevor Robinson with a good block. It is enough. They'll move the chains.
And really smart running by Oliver, too. Not a lot of dancing, just putting his head down and driving straight ahead and picking up 10 for the first down.
Oliver remains in there. We have 3:24 to play in this first half. David Johnson in front of him. Give it to Oliver again. Stutter step. Good patience by Oliver. Waits for the hole to develop. Turns it into a 5-yard pickup.
How valuable Brandon Oliver has been filling in for Ryan Matthews as the primary back for San Diego.
Matthews suffered that right ankle injury on December the 7th against New England. Oliver again. And this time Kansas City prepared for it. Josh Maga played for Bob Sutton when Sutton was with the Jets. Sutton, the defensive coordinator for Kansas City. When they needed somebody, they signed Maga, and he has led the Chiefs in tackles this season.
And he has 80 solo tackles on the season. Just like that one.
Bob Sutton, now in his 15th year in the NFL, was the former head coach at Army for 9 years. And his defense has forced San Diego into a 3rd and 9. We come up on 2 minutes to play, first half. Working from the gun, Ronnie Brown is in there for the Chargers. Protection holds up, or does it? Rivers is hit from behind. Justin Houston. Another sack for Houston. And we've hit the 2-minute warning in the second quarter. San Diego will punt it on 4th down when we come back. Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report, JB and the rest of the gang, latest NFL scores and highlights. First half analysis, all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Justin Houston has now tied Derek Thomas for the franchise record. 20 sacks in a single season. And he's joined a select group, the 10th player to do it. McBriar the punt to Anthony Thomas from the 28. Thomas works the sideline. Thomas still going. What an effort in the first half by Thomas as he's brought down inside San Diego territory.
Well, Justin Houston hasn't just sacked Phillip Rivers today. He blocked the pass. He ran Donald Brown out of bounds. And this is the first of his 2 sacks here in the first half. But that last sack, he beat Willie Smith, single blocking. So the injury to DJ Fluker being felt there. But look at this list now. Justin Houston tying the great Derek Thomas.
1:45 to play from midfield. Charles Good pause by Charles to turn that into a 4-yard pickup for Justin Houston. We asked him about the contract. He said that before the season started, he told his coaches and his teammates that the contract would not be a distraction. The last thing he wanted was for it to affect the team. Houston is unsigned. He will be a free agent at the end of the season. Daniel over the middle. Kelsey has mastered that move. The catch and then the curl upfield for extra yards. 10-yard pickup for Kelsey and a first down. Timeout called by Kansas City. Chiefs have 2 remaining.
Chase Daniel now 11 of 13 for 90 yards. Kelsey with that quick move right around Manti Te'o.
You went back to watch the San Diego-Kansas City game from last season, the one that Chase Daniel got his first NFL start. What stood out from that, and now that you've seen him in the first half and the kind of performer he is?
He doesn't look like a backup quarterback. I mean, he gets back in the pocket, throws with authority, and you can just see he's got a little bit of cockiness to him. He's had a lot of success at Missouri. He was a great quarterback for the Tigers, and he's just been waiting his time. Learned a lot from Drew Brees, and he's learned a lot from Alex Smith in his 2 years here in Kansas City.
First and 10, just short of the 35. Daniel has 1:15 on the clock. Daniel, protection is there. Daniel throws it on the line. Travis Kelsey hit by a die who's back in there for San Diego. He just saved a touchdown.
And this is a beautiful throw. Low and away to Kelsey, away from a die's tight coverage there. Kelsey with real quickness after the catch.
Eric Weddle said Kelsey is Gronk-like, a great route runner. It's Kelsey again. They're feeding him the football. Kelsey with a catch at the 9 and a timeout called by Kansas City. Manti Te'o and a die combined to bring him down. It's funny, you asked Daniel about how he will sleep before his second NFL start and how he slept before his first NFL start. And Daniel said, I actually slept better before my first start than all of the other nights that I've been the backup QB, because when you're getting the start, you know what your role is. When you're the backup, you have no idea if you're going to get called upon on the second play of the game, the second to last play of the game.
Yeah,
it's a mystery.
Yeah, you don't know what the situation's going to be, so your preparation is that much greater because it happens in an instant, or as players like to say, a heartbeat.
He said what he learned from Alex Smith is leadership. In every situation, Smith has always been the same guy. When they're up, when they're down, so that's made the biggest impression on Daniel. 2nd and 7. Drop ball. Albert Wilson. Kansas City is very high on Wilson's skills. Undrafted free agent from Georgia State, did a little bit of everything in college.
But this pass offense just drives me nuts, though. You see all these short passes. Here you are in the red zone, and you haven't seen one ball thrown into the end zone by the Chiefs. Second time they've been down here, third time actually, and yet they rely on these short passes and expecting their receivers to break tackles and get into the end zone.
3rd and 7 now from the 9. Neither team has converted on a 3rd down. Daniel out of the pocket. Daniel throws it incomplete. He thought he was going to have a running lane, but then Melvin Ingram made sure that he didn't.
Ingram has really made an impact with this Charger defense second half of the season. You can see him just eyeing Daniel, not really rushing him, but then getting by the block of Ryan Harris and forcing a incomplete pass, a pass that came dangerously close to being picked off.
This is another win for the San Diego defense, but you look up, Kansas City continues to put points on the board. 27-yard attempt for Cairo Santos. Colquitt will hold it. Gafford the snap. Santos gets it to go. 16-7. Kansas City with 33 seconds to go in this first half. Don't forget, coming up, Verizon Halftime Report. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, Coach Cowher. NFL scores, regular season finale, playoff hopes still alive, highlights and analysis. That's the Verizon Halftime Report. So Chase Daniel is 13 of 17, 117 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Santos with 3 field goals, A fumble recovery for a touchdown for the tight end Travis Kelce, who's had a Pro Bowl type season. And San Diego trailing at the half once again. Mike McCoy's team was down 28-7 at halftime last week in Santa Clara.
And the Chiefs have played a real clean first half. No turnovers, no fumbles or interceptions, and only 2 penalties. Andy Reid's got to be extremely happy with their execution on both sides of the ball.
Santos will kick it off. Chris Davis is deep for San Diego. Kansas City will get the ball to start the second half. They won the toss and deferred. From the 2, Chris Davis. Davis stood up and lifted at the 18-yard line by Sorensen. So for San Diego, pretty simple. Chargers win, they're in the playoffs. For Kansas City, Chiefs need a win, they need a Baltimore loss, they need a Houston loss.
1st and 10, San Diego, and the Chargers.
Baltimore is tied 3-3 with Cleveland at the half. DJ Fluker returns for San Diego on the right side of that offensive line. Left earlier with an apparent knee injury.
In the last play the Chargers ran offensively, his replacement, Willie Smith, was beaten by Justin Houston.
San Diego has 2 timeouts remaining, 28 seconds left. Running play to Oliver. Oliver slicing through and carries it across the 35. San Diego uses a timeout, stop the clock with 21 seconds to go in the second quarter. It's an 18-yard run for Oliver. "12 carries, 66 yards, and a touchdown for Oliver. For Nick Novak, maybe an opportunity here, looking to get it to the 35-yard line. Career long of 53 that he kicked 3 years ago.
And earlier in the day, the wind would be at his back, but you look at the streamers at the top of the goalposts, and they are just hanging straight down, no wind at all.
San Diego needs 30 yards to get Novak into his zone. 21 seconds to go, second quarter. Shotgun for Rivers. Rivers moving out of the pocket. Dials up the deep ball. Collision. Intercepted. Kurt Coleman ranging over. Eddie Royal, the intended target. Chargers turn it over.
It's the same type of route that Rivers hit Royal for 44 yards earlier here in the second quarter. A little out and up by Royal. There's the out. There comes the up. Now watch the range, though, for Coleman coming from center field and high pointing this ball and absorbing the hit from his teammate Chris Owens to make the interception.
So Chiefs have it at the 20. 12 seconds left. Chase Daniel will take a knee. If the officials will let them snap it. All turnovers are reviewed. They may have just been double checking. Daniel kneels down. Kansas City. Playoff hopes still remain up in the air for the Chiefs. They need a win and then a lot of help. Rivers will put it in the air. Eddie Royal with the catch. And Royal diving for the pylon. Daniel finds the open man. Ball pops loose. Kelce comes up with it. Getting ready for the second half here in Kansas City. Happy holidays, everybody. 16-7. The Chiefs on top of the Chargers as we take a look at the Bows game changer. Chase Daniel on a pass to Dwayne Bowe, who comes within inches of the first touchdown of the season for a wide receiver for Kansas City. But the ball pops loose. Travis Kelce is there on the recovery. It is a touchdown for the Chiefs. And it is halftime here at Arrowhead. Ian Eagle along with Hall of Famer Dan Fouts. How many times can San Diego walk this tightrope, tight games on the road, this time with a playoff berth on the line, and continue to come through? This is going to be a big challenge for the Chargers. Kansas City, you said it, playing a clean first half.
Well, and they get the ball to start second half, so their ability to control the ball, but they haven't taken advantage of enough situations inside the red zone. But San Diego, do they have the Chiefs right where they want them? They trailed the 49ers by 21 at halftime just Saturday night.
Injuries, they continue to pile up for San Diego on the offensive line. DJ Fluker left for a stretch, and then in the secondary for San Diego as well. That is something that has been part of the narrative for the Chargers really from the beginning of the season.
And they're going against a hot quarterback. Chase Daniel had a great first half, delivering the ball, spreading it out to a number of receivers, also running the ball. So we'll see how the Chiefs come out to start the second half and what type of adjustments San Diego will make defensively against Chase Daniel.
Chase Daniel had success against the Chargers last season in his first NFL start, getting his second NFL start today because of the injury to Alex Smith, out with a lacerated spleen.
Back deep for Kansas City.
Nick Novak will kick it off. Alex Smith, who is 38-16-1 in his last 4 seasons, was winning consistently in San Francisco before they made the decision to go with Colin Kaepernick and eventually trade him to the Chiefs when Andy Reid took over the program. Niall Davis, the return man, takes it out of the end zone. Davis slowed down to the 20 and hit at the 24 by Chris Davis. Downstairs to Jenny Dell.
Lion head coach Andy Reid told me that he's pleased with the job that Chase Daniel has done so far in the first half. He said his goal in the second half is to get Jamal Charles more involved in the game. He said he's playing his heart out. They just want to get him the ball more. As far as Mike McCoy goes, he said this team plays their best football when their backs are up against the wall, and that's what he's expecting right now. His message at the half was play the best 30 minutes of your life.
Yeah, it's something that Philip Rivers reiterated in our meeting, Jenny, with him saying that the character of this team, the makeup of the veterans, they never feel panic. There's Charles on cue. Jenny reporting that Andy Reid wants to get Charles more involved. They get him the football right out of the gate in the third quarter for a 12-yard pickup.
And again, the Chiefs open up with 3 tight ends to the strong side, and that's exactly where Charles gets in behind Kelsey there. You talk about getting them started. First play of the second half. Good run for Jamal Charles.
And Kelsey just limped off for Kansas City. He missed all of last season after knee surgery. Give it to Charles again. Charles hit before he got to the 40-yard line. They limit Charles to a 3-yard pickup. Kendall Reyes in on the stop. Well, the quarterbacks in the first half, Philip Rivers is just 4 of 7. Chase Daniel, 13 of 17, 117 yards for the 6th-year pro.
And those 4 receptions, 3 of them for Rivers have gone to Royal, 1 to Oliver. But just 7 attempts in the first half is really unusual.
Kelsey back in for Kansas City. Daniel didn't see anything he liked downfield, so tuck and run for no gain. Pressure from Ingram and Freeney.
Well, smart play by Chase Daniel, not seeing any of his receivers getting open on this and seeing what he can do down the field. Wilson looked like he was blocking for a running play. Good coverage by Sharice Wright on Dwayne Bowe, and here's Melvin Ingram forcing Daniel out of the pocket.
So it goes down as a sack on the play. 3rd and 7 now for Kansas City. Working from the gun. First possession to the 3rd. Daniel under duress. And it's dropped low past Dwayne Bowe. Daniel was fortunate just to get rid of it before the hit as Melvin Ingram was coming at the QB.
Well, that was a great throw. Risky throw, but a great throw. And one that Dwayne Bowe has to make here. Good pressure by Ingram again. Right in on the quarterback along with Jarrett Johnson. But watch the effort here by Bowe. Does not go down to his knees to make that catch. Therefore doesn't make it.
Bowe dealing with a shoulder injury. He was limited to practice this week. San Diego's defense comes through to open up the second half. Dustin Colquitt the punt. High sailing kick over the head of Royal. And it rolls out of bounds, curling A flag down back at the 38-yard line.
And this will stand. This is going to be holding against the Chargers. Fantastic punt by
Number
Colquitt.
37 of the receiving team. After the goal, first down, timeout.
56-yard punt for Colquitt. San Diego deep in its own territory. Phillip Rivers, just one pass attempt. In the last 3 San Diego drives, it was an interception at the tail end of the second quarter. Give to Brandon Oliver. And Oliver gives San Diego some breathing room. Hole opens up, 4-yard gain for Oliver.
Now DJ Fluker playing with a sore right knee. It was his job this time as he takes Houston to the outside, and Oliver cutting in behind that block gives the Chargers a little breathing room.
Rivers did go over 4,000 yards earlier today. That's his 6th 4,000-yard season. Now in his 11th year in the NFL. On second down, fake it. Rivers, floater, is caught by Eddie Royal and leans backwards, which gets him an extra yard into Chris Owens. 9-yard pickup, first down.
Well, maybe it's floated out there because it was tipped at the line of scrimmage there. Good job by Royal to hang with this. Mauga gets about 2 fingers on it.
Dan, Malcolm Floyd does not have a catch. Eddie Royal has 4 grabs for 95 yards. The only other player to catch a ball is Brandon Oliver. So that means Antonio Gates has been shut out. Rivers steps up, in trouble. Rivers fumbles the football. It's loose. Ball gets knocked around. It's still free. Kansas City had a chance to grab it on a couple of occasions. And now the officials jump in, trying to peel off the pile.
Well, Houston will get credit for this sack and the fumble, and it's KC ball.
The Chiefs take over. That is sack number 21 for Justin Houston.
Hey, he's going to beat DJ Fluker to the inside and just goes right for the right arm of Rivers as Rivers is stepping up into the pocket. And now it's a melee, and the Chiefs at the bottom of the pile. More red shirts there than white shirts.
The strip by Houston, 4th forced fumble, 21 sacks, a new franchise record for Justin Houston, topping the previous mark from Derek Thomas.
And again, Fluker playing with a sore right knee, had to go to the locker room in the first half to have it checked out.
Second turnover for San Diego. Kansas City takes over. Daniel off the hands of Charles, had popped up in the air, and Charles could not locate it.
The ball just thrown too hard. Just too hard. Jamal Charles about 6 yards away from Chase Daniel on that screen pass. Little touches needed on that type of throw.
In the red zone, Kansas City, prior to last week, one of the best teams in the NFL for red zone touchdown efficiency. They have come up empty against Pittsburgh and here today against San Diego. 2nd and 10. Running play. It's Charles. Charles spins to the 10. Cavell Connor there defensively. 7-yard pickup.
Yeah, and they're getting a lot of work out of their 3 tight ends. Again, on the strong side. And Charles with a good run here. Look at Kelsey back in the game. There's Fasano. There's Gordon. And they just form a wall against San Diego.
And another injury for San Diego. Looks like Sharice Wright.
Sharice Wright made the touchdown saving tackle here as he came in and tried to take the legs out by leading with his head. It's always dangerous. Watch this, the head of Wright to the hip of Charles.
Remember in the first meeting, Brandon Flowers suffered a concussion when he and Jamal Charles got into it.
Unbelievable hit at the goal line. A touchdown for Charles and a hit that did result in Flowers getting that concussion.
Flowers missed time because of it. And Sharice Wright is up on his feet. Chris Davis would step in for Wright.
Yeah, he's a little wobbly going off there. You see the trainers and the doctors. James Collins on the left, the excellent trainer for the San Diego Chargers, making sure that Wright gets to the sideline safely.
Meanwhile, Kansas City faces a 3rd and 3 now from the 10. They already have the 16-7 lead.
And again, 3 tight ends for the Chiefs.
Neither team has converted on a 3rd down here today. Kansas City is 0 of 5. San Diego is 0 of 4. This is a 3rd and 3. Give it to Charles. Running up the middle. And Charles able to get enough for a 1st down. 5-yard pickup for Charles.
You know, I think this is the most underrated aspect of his game is his power. Just a tick under 200 pounds, but runs with explosion and smarts. As he saw contact coming there, he attacked the defense. And that got him enough for the 1st down.
12 carries, 52 yards for Charles. Doug Peterson, offensive coordinator for Kansas City, worked with Andy Reid back in Philadelphia. 1st and goal for the Chiefs. Will they take a crack at the end zone? They won't on 1st down because Niall Davis gets the carry. And he is stacked up. Ricardo Matthews with the stop. Take a listen.
Tackle by Ricardo. No gain on the play.
Catch car from the University of Missouri. Big hit that time.
Second and goal here for Kansas City. 16-7 lead. Chiefs need a win and help to make the playoffs. Chase Daniel will use a timeout. Clock stops, 9:29 to play in the 3rd. Chiefs have 2 timeouts remaining. Well, stay tuned. Week 17 continues later today on CBS and Fox. And then tonight, Sunday Night Football on NBC. Flag is down at the
12
20.
men on the field on offense prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
12 men on the field. So similar to what we saw earlier for Kansas City, Chase Daniel took a sack that backed them up. That changed their play calling in a goal-to-go situation. Now they're going to back it up again, this time because of a penalty.
In the formation they were just in, they had Anthony Thomas out wide with both Kelsey and Fasano with him. That makes me think they were going to throw a little screen pass to DeAnthony Thomas and let those big tight ends block for him, try to get him in the end zone.
Kansas City gets the timeout back because the penalty was enforced. So it's 2nd and goal from the 10.
Same formation. There's DeAnthony Thomas and those 2 tight ends.
Daniel in trouble. Daniel brought down. Corey Legion. They go back to their college years when Legion played him as a member of the University of Illinois football team. They took on Missouri, and Legion told us he never got Daniel to the ground back in college, but he did get him last year in that Week 17 matchup, registered a sack against Daniel and the Chiefs. He does it again. So it's 3rd and goal.
The Chiefs continue to struggle in the red zone.
Line of scrimmage is now the 13. Charles shifts out of the backfield. 8.5 to play in the 3rd. Daniel sets, fires, incomplete. He was looking for Avant. A lunging attempt by Avant. And the field goal unit is coming on.
Well, finally, they give a receiver a chance to make a catch in the end zone. And it's just about 4 inches too far for Avant to get his right hand on it, but could not bring it back to his body.
So the very busy Cairo Santos is on for a 31-yard attempt. Already has 3 field goals here this afternoon. Santos nails it from 31 yards away. Kansas City now in front, 19-7 over San Diego.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. And by Domino's. Visit Domino's.com.
Or you won the autograph prize bag. Visit the nearest fan's first booth.
Kansas City is looking to sweep San Diego for the first time since 2003. Here are the updates. Cleveland and Baltimore tied at 3. Houston leading Jacksonville 14-10. Kansas City needs a Cleveland win, a Jacksonville win, and of course the win here over San Diego to make the playoffs. Santos kicks it off. Chris Davis returning for the Chargers. San Diego looking for a lift here. Davis can't provide it in the return game. He's brought down short of the 30 by Sorensen. Can the Chargers get it in gear? They trail 19-7. Last week against San Francisco, Antonio Gates, 7 catches, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns. He is yet to be targeted today for the Chargers.
That will change in a big hurry, I guarantee you.
San Diego trails 19-7, just over 8 minutes to go in the third. Handed off to Oliver. Nothing there. Jay Howard makes the play for Kansas City. It's a loss of 2.
You know, I just wonder if there's something wrong with Phillip Rivers. He's only thrown 8 passes today. He's been sacked a couple of times, 4 times by the Chiefs. He's fumbled the last time out, but to not give him more opportunities to win this ball game was really surprising.
He threw it 54 times against the Niners and told us he actually feels better this week compared to last week.
And he had an extra day off because that game was on a Saturday.
2nd and 12 here for San Diego. Rivers to put it in the air. Rivers thrown down. Dontari Poe devours Rivers.
Well, Poe going to the Pro Bowl because as a nose tackle, he has now 6 sacks on the year. Watch 92 run right by the rookie Jeremiah Searles and punish Rivers.
From the 14-yard line.
Hit from both sides as Ali comes in late.
It's 3rd down.
It's a loss of 8. It's the 5th Kansas City sack of the day. And it's 3rd and 20 for San Diego. Working from the gun. Rivers on a flip for Donald Brown. Brown hit hard as he crossed the 25 by Kelsey McRae. NFL Today update. JB and Boomer.
Boomer, nice setup.
How about Cleveland? Maybe they do have a rookie quarterback after all. He's Connor Shaw out of South Carolina, moving around. He's going to find Taylor Gabriel down to the 2-yard line. This is going to be followed up by a Terrence West 2-yard touchdown run. Connor Shaw and the Cleveland Browns take the lead 10-3.
Ian.
We'll redo the previous play as officials were.
All right, JB, flag down. Connor Shaw. I know there were Browns fans out there that were excited about Connor Shaw here in Week 17.
Well, we know one Cleveland Brown fan.
We do.
Our outstanding cameraman, Igor the Terrible Klobas, jumping up and down. Can he keep the camera still?
Flag is down.
They're reviewing the previous play.
That was a catch and run by Donald Brown. And the issue here, the officials were not ready. They weren't set. So now they will redo this 4th down punt.
Redo, not review. Gotcha.
Matt McBriar in for the injured Mike Cyphers. The Anthony Thomas return man. He's not even going to touch it. Flag is down at the 26. Ball came out of bounds at the 27.
During the kick, holding. Number 89, the receiving team. 10-yard penalty, still 1st down. Timeout.
Richard Gordon called on the hold. Well, for San Diego, we know that they've been down this road before. They have found ways. Can they do it again in a win and in scenario for the Chargers?
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Kelley Blue Book. Find out what you should pay for your next new car at KBB.com. And by new Amazon Fire TV Stick, the most powerful streaming stick.
The Chiefs' 18-yard line.
It has been a struggle for the San Diego offense. They've been held to 7 points. 6:11 to go in the third quarter. Kansas City takes over after the punt and the penalty. Give to Niall Davis. He falls forward. 3-yard pickup. Teo there with the stop. We send it down to the field and Jenny Dell.
Well, an update on Sharice Wright. He was brought over to the sideline where he met with Dr. Wong. He's the concussion specialist for the Chargers. They went through a series of tests on the sideline and then brought him into the locker room for further testing. I will keep you guys posted on his status.
All right, thanks very much. Gilchrist left earlier with a right elbow injury. They checked on a possible concussion for a die. He did return for San Diego. Fluker left on the offensive side. Ball tipped, trying to get it to Albert Wilson. And now it's third down for Kansas City. 5:34 to go in the third.
And you can see where Chase Daniel was going to throw this ball, trying to get it outside to Williams against Steve Williams, rather to Albert Wilson against Steve Williams. Chargers are very thin now in the defensive secondary. Daniels has missed his last 6.
So he's 13 of 21, 117 yards. And now facing a 3rd and 7 for the Chiefs. Daniel steps up. Daniel in trouble, and he is dumped by Ingram. Melvin Ingram working his way into the pocket and bringing down Chase Daniel.
Well, Daniel really took a long time trying to get this one off. Great desire by Ingram as Chase Daniel basically runs into the sack by leaving the pocket and really hanging Ryan Harris out to dry, his right tackle. But that's what happens when you're a short quarterback. You can't see sometimes. Daniel is listed at 6 foot tall, had a previous pass on this series deflected, and now takes a sack.
So Dustin Colquitt, who has been outstanding today for Kansas City. Another high punt. Eddie Royal, returnable from the 38. After the 50-yard punt, Royal is driven backwards. Forward progress will get him to the 39. Tackle made by Sorensen. 4:36 to go in the third.
Well, special teams can be dangerous. Watch number 20 here. Chris Owens get hit by Torek Williams. He was being attended to on the sidelines, but surprisingly, here he is, still in the game after that big hit.
Dan, we only have 32 total yards of offense in the third quarter. On first down, Rivers throws. He hits Antonio Gates. First target, first catch into Kansas City territory, brought down at the 46. It's a 15-yard hookup.
66 catches on the season now, and Rivers finally has a clean pocket to throw from. And Gates just so good at getting separation. Doesn't look like he's moving very fast, but he's got a long stride.
He has 15 career touchdowns against Kansas City. That's the most against any opponent in Gates' career. From the 46, Rivers again from the gun. Pressure is coming. Rivers, they'll blow it dead. Allen Bailey, and this has been a recurring theme for Kansas City. 6 sacks for the Chiefs.
Well, prior to this game, Rivers had only been sacked 29 times in 15 games. But right now, the offensive line just being overpowered. And then finally, the 6-1 of the afternoon, with Bailey picking it up.
And this is a guy dealing with an injured rib and a bulging disc in his lower back. 2nd and 16 for San Diego. We come up on 3 minutes to go in the third. Play clock is down to 3. Didn't look like they got the play off in time. Hand off to Oliver.
No,
Delay of game. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
What that is, that's a case where on that sack by Rivers, he never went down to the ground. So they start the clock as soon as his forward progress has been stopped. And it took a long time for them to unpile there and get back to their respective sides of the ball. And that cost Rivers a delay of game.
2nd and 21 for Rivers and the Chargers. Working from the gun. Rivers steps up, throws, wide open. Back-to-back Antonio Gates. NFL Today update. JB Boomer in New York.
No quit in Jacksonville.
That's right. How about a lateral from Blake Bortles to Cecil Shorts? He's going to turn around and throw it to Jordan Todman. This is going to take the lead for the Jacksonville Jaguars 17-14. And as you guys in Kansas City know, Baltimore lost, Houston lost, Kansas City win. Kansas City makes it to the playoffs.
Iron is all on top of that.
You know, JB and Boomer, you go back to 2006. Kansas City beat Jacksonville in the regular season finale. They had Cincinnati, Denver, and Tennessee all lose, and the Chiefs made the playoffs, amazingly enough. It could be a similar situation today. Gates has a first down for San Diego, 2:26 to go in the third. That's a 21-yard reception for Antonio Gates. So Phillip Rivers, he wouldn't put a percentage on what he's feeling physically. Dan, you asked him every which way to kind of give us an update, and he downplays it, but it's clear he's not 100%.
Well, and his offensive line is about 50%. Rivers sacked 6 times already. We're not even to the fourth quarter.
Shotgun for Rivers. First and 10, just short of the 35. Pressure coming again. Flip it out to Oliver. He takes a stamp from Jamel Fleming. It's a loss of 2 on the play. We're under 2 minutes to go in the third. Fleming laying the wood for Kansas City.
Good read by Fleming, obviously, on that little dump off to Oliver.
Second and 12 for San Diego. Rivers 9 of 12, 143 yards and a pick.
They got Houston and Hallie on the same side of the defense here.
Floyd is yet to catch a ball. Rivers throws sideline. Incomplete. Inman, the intended receiver. 2 penalty flags are down.
Holding. Number 77 offense, 10-yard penalty.
Going to be King Dunlap for the hold. But really creative by Bob Sutton, putting his 2 great pass rushers on the same side so that the Chargers cannot double team Houston as he gets to the inside. And Dunlap grabs him.
Second down and 22 for the Chiefs.
That's got to be a nightmare for the Phillip Rivers to see both Hallie and Houston lined up on one side of the ball.
8 penalties against San Diego, costing the Chargers 52 yards. Bob Sutton has been creative today for Kansas City, running the defense. And now the Chargers face a second and 22. Rivers steps up. Rivers throws in traffic. It's hauled in by Gates. Brought down just inside the 35. Hit by Abdullah and Owens for Kansas City. 14-yard pickup.
Yeah, it was just a matter of time before Rivers just started looking exclusively for Gates, but at this point he's got to start thinking about Malcolm Floyd as well, especially trying to get Floyd to the end zone and use his height and jumping ability.
Frank Wright calling the plays for San Diego in his first year as the offensive coordinator for the Chargers. They are yet to convert on a third down. It's 3rd and 8. 38 seconds to go in the third. Here come the Chiefs. Rivers steps up, avoids the rush, throws, incomplete. He tried to squeeze it in to Inman, and Fleming makes the play. And they are in no man's land right now.
Fairly great protection this time for Rivers as he looks outside, and Fleming's just going to make an outstanding play with the left hand to knock it away and not touch the receiver.
Dan, they're going to try a 52-yard field goal with Nick Novak. That would match his season high.
Got a little breeze to his back, too. This could help.
Wentz will snap it. McBriar will hold it. Trying to inch closer. From 52 yards away, Novak, it's off to the left. Rivers and the Chargers come up empty.
He had plenty of distance on this one, but comes across it just a little bit, misses it by about 2 yards.
So Kansas City takes over. The frustration for Rivers and the rest of this San Diego team.
Look at the field position the Chiefs will have to start this drive.
Handoff to Charles. Picks up 2.5 on the play. Kansas City in no rush. And that'll be the final play of the third quarter. The Kansas City Chiefs with a win and Baltimore and Houston losses, they will go to the playoffs. San Diego needs a win and then nothing else matters. The Chiefs 19, the Chargers 7. We'll return after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. As we start the fourth quarter, everything is breaking Kansas City's way. They lead San Diego 19-7. Cleveland on top of Baltimore 10-3. And Jacksonville in front of Houston 17-14. Chiefs have it with a 2nd and 8 first play of the fourth quarter. At their own 44-yard line. Daniel throws it to the flat. Charles avoids one tackler, then takes it to the sideline. And Manti Te'o is there defensively.
That was close to being a backwards pass.
Phillip Rivers trying to fire his team up or just venting on the sideline and letting off some steam.
Well, it's a 2-score game. And offensively, the Chargers haven't been able to get anything going with their passing attack. Either have the Chiefs, really. That was the first completion of the second half for Chase Daniel.
Charles limping off for Kansas City. He's replaced by Niall Davis. 3rd and 3 now for the Chiefs. 1 of 8 on third down conversions. Working from the gun. Daniel. Deep ball. Thomas. He's got it. D'Anthony Thomas with the catch. He's ruled down after the catch. Working against Chris Davis.
A couple of rookies going against each other. Look at this adjustment to the underthrown ball by D'Anthony Thomas. He's got it the whole way. Comes underneath Davis there to make the catch. And D'Anthony Thomas has had a great day returning punts. Picks up 30 yards on that play.
Davis was turned around the wrong way. The adjustment made by the rookie out of Oregon. And Kansas City is in business. Davis. Boy, he takes a shot from Reyes and Jared Johnson. We're down to 13:27 to go in the fourth. D'Anthony Thomas has had a major impact here. All 3 phases.
They call him Dat. And Dats are good stats. You like that one? No? Okay.
What'd you hear? Crickets?
I hear a lot of things.
2nd and 11 now. Kelsey is the motion man for Kansas City. The throw is too high. Richard Gordon, formerly of Oakland, Pittsburgh, and Tennessee. 6th round pick back in 2011. The intended receiver for the Chiefs. Now it's 3rd and 11.
And again, Chiefs in positive area on the field just outside the red zone, and their offense seems to stutter each time they get on this part of the field. Richard Gordon hasn't even caught a pass this year, and that ball wasn't anywhere near the big tight end.
A touchdown would make it 3 scores in the fourth quarter. We know that San Diego's been a rally machine, but the hole is getting deeper for the Chargers. Timeout. San Diego. So the Chargers will have 2 timeouts remaining. This is a 3rd and 11 for Kansas City with 12:57 left on the clock.
Yeah, and a field goal will make it a 15-point game, so it's still a 2-score game, but one of those touchdowns would have to be accompanied by a 2-pointer. So we'll see how daring the Chiefs get with this 3rd down play, or whether they'll just be content to let Santos kick his 5th field goal, or at least try one.
Now, right now within Santos's range, he's got a long of 53 this season. Now the frustration for San Diego, never really built a rhythm offensively. Even when they went down against San Francisco last week. You saw glimmers, you saw flashes of the offense with Rivers using all of his weapons.
And today, they've run the ball effectively.
Yeah, probably better than last week.
Yeah, they have 87 yards on the ground. Rivers 157 through the air.
But only 14 pass attempts for Rivers. He threw it 54 times against the 49ers. This is a 3rd and 11. Important play defensively through San Diego. Daniel throws it over the middle. It's caught by Kelsey, but short of a first down. Penalty marker is thrown at the 31.
This is going to be holding against the Chiefs. So
Illegal use of hands through the face. Number 72, offense. 10-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
It is the #1 pick in the 2013 draft, Eric Fisher.
Yeah, working against Dwight Freeney right here. You can see that left hand. And this will back the Chiefs up.
So they'll accept the penalty with the idea that it pushes Kansas City back a bit deeper and makes it a more challenging field goal attempt for Cairo Santos. You turn it down, it's 4th down. Santos comes onto the field and kicks the field goal.
The other thing, though, that by accepting the penalty, more time will go off the clock. And the Chargers have just used a timeout, so the clock will be against the Chargers as well when they get the ball on offense.
So this is a 3rd and 21 now for Kansas City. Niall Davis is in there. Motion man is Thomas. Daniel gets rid of it. He's looking end zone. Daniel incomplete. Wilson, the intended receiver. NFL Today update. Let's head to New York. JB and Boomer.
Houston playing with a purpose.
That's right. Back come the Texans. Case Keenum 8 yards to Andre Johnson. They take the lead 21-17 on the day. Case Keenum 24 of 34, 243 yards, and that touchdown pass right there to give the Texans the lead.
Iron Eagle, Dan Fouts.
And that changes the circumstances in the AFC playoff picture if it holds up.
And give credit to the schedule makers for having all these games being played at the same time.
Yeah, this has been a wild,
great drama.
Early part of the doubleheader here on CBS in the AFC. 50-yard attempt for Santos. It's no good. San Diego still alive with 12:17 to go in the 4th. That was a huge penalty that cost the Chiefs. 3 games all have playoff implications in the AFC. Baltimore trailing Cleveland 10-3. Houston up on Jacksonville 21-17. Kansas City leads San Diego 19-7. Right now, if these scores play out, it would be Houston under Bill O'Brien in the playoffs in the final spot. Phillip Rivers trying to lead the Chargers back. Rivers caught by Gates. Gates has room. Flag thrown in the defensive backfield. And Gates leans in out across the 45-yard line for a 17-yard pickup. But the penalty marker is down at the 36 of Kansas City.
Illegal contact, number 39, defense. The penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
Let's check in with Jenny Dell on the sidelines. Jenny?
Lion, you can feel the energy on the Kansas City sidelines over here, but at this point, these players have no idea where they stand in the playoff picture. The stadium itself has decided not to show the scores of the Texans or the Ravens game particularly, so that these guys have no idea where they stand.
Do they have cell phones? I don't think that's allowed. So you can't even check your
No,
apps.
it's not allowed. That's a violation. Yep.
Shotgun for Rivers. Rivers throws deep ball on an out route, handled by Inman. First down for San Diego. Another update from New York. It's JB and Boomer.
Yeah, most folks will see this matchup coming up next. The talented Cam Newton and the Panthers taking on a hot Matty Ice, 100-plus passer rating the past 4 weeks. And the Falcons, it's a win or in scenario for those squads. Back to Iron Eagle.
All right, JB. Final weekend of the NFL regular season. And it's coming down to the wire for the final spot in the AFC playoff picture. And as JB mentioned, we'll have that game for you coming up on CBS. Carolina and Atlanta for a spot in the NFC postseason. Quick hitter. Inman back-to-back catches. He's out of bounds.
Inman is a real smooth route runner. Let's watch, he works his magic there on the outside. Rivers with great timing here. You notice on the last 3 pass plays, Rivers has not been hurt at all by this Chief rush.
Quick snap, handed off to Brown. He runs into a crowd and picks up the necessary yards for the first down. So new set of downs for San Diego to work with. We are under 11 minutes to go now in the fourth quarter. Phillip Rivers picking it up in this second half. He's 9 of 10 for 107 yards. We asked Mike McCoy about Rivers. He said that's what the great ones do. Nothing phases him. He's special. He's at his best with the game on the line.
Game on the line, season on the line for Rivers and the Chargers.
10.5 to play. They trail 19-7. Rivers rifles, end zone, too high for Malcolm Floyd. He's a tall target at 6'5".
You can see Rivers stretching out a little bit. You know, he's got the bad back and the bad ribs, and the pressure that time could not step into that throw. Looked like Ali was right in his grill as he let that one go.
Floyd defended on the play by 5'9" Chris Owens. 2nd and 10.
Crowd now, when Rivers does this, they just get louder, changing the play and the formation.
Change it to a run. Donald Brown keeps the legs churning. Brown is brought down inside the 10 by Kurt Coleman. It's a 6-yard pickup. We count it down to the 10-minute mark here in the fourth. Ronnie Brown comes in for San Diego. Third and 4 for the Chargers. Shotgun for Rivers. Rivers hooks a pass, and it's caught inside the 5 by Floyd.
Rivers pass complete to
Malcolm Floyd should be enough for a first down.
And again, look at the pass protection for Rivers. A clean throwing lane there, finds Floyd at about the 3-yard line. That will be enough for a first down.
And the first catch for Malcolm Floyd. 1st and goal for San Diego. Once again, the Chargers trying to battle back on the road. A win and in scenario. Rivers up in the air, too high for Eddie Royal. Incomplete. Fleming draws the coverage for Kansas City.
Yeah, Fleming does a real good job running stride for stride with Royal to the corner. Royal just 5'10", if that. And you can see that Rivers saw the coverage by Fleming and just let it sail out of bounds.
Second and goal for the Chargers. 4 receiver set.
Rivers sees the Chiefs crowding the line of scrimmage, going to bring the blitz here.
Rivers fires, end zone. It's caught. Eddie Royal, touchdown San Diego.
Touchdown San Diego.
Fourth quarter is Rivers time.
Now they just bring 4. They come out of the blitz, and that allows Royal to find his way inside Kurt Coleman at the goal line. In fact, Royal was double teamed on that play, but did he catch this ball? They will review it because it's a scoring play. Boy, that is real close. This will give us a better look at it as the ball goes down, hits there on the ground.
I don't know if he's going to get it, Dan.
I don't know if he could say he had control of it throughout. The ball did move as it hit the ground. And
they will take a look. Official review. Did that ball hit the turf and affect it? Sure looked like it did.
Yep.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Dr. Pepper. Always one of a kind. Honda, where you can get great deals during Happy Honda Days. And by Verizon. Get the good more this holiday season with the best end-of-season deals on great tech gifts.
After reviewing the play, the ball hit the ground, so an incomplete pass. The ball becomes on the 3-yard line. Third down.
Well, a huge call. San Diego thought they had a touchdown here. It's ruled a trap for Royal as the ball came off the turf.
Yeah, that's a point because he had it at first, and then the ball hits the ground, loses control there, and then regains control. But at that point, it's too late.
So it's 3rd and goal now for San Diego at the 3.
If they don't make it on 3rd down here, they have to go for it on 4th down.
8:42 to go. Ronnie Brown sets up to the side of Rivers. Chargers down by 12. Play clock down to 1. Rivers, fade route, juggled. Royal can't secure it. It's incomplete. Ron Parker there defensively for Kansas City, and now it is 4th down for the Chargers.
Rivers can't believe it. This is a beautiful throw to Royal as he gets beyond Parker. Parker actually hits Royal before the ball gets there. That should have been pass interference. There's the contact, and that's why Royal doesn't make that catch.
But an injury here as Eddie Royal went down and hit his head at the end of the play. Medical staff is out there checking on Royal. And he's up on his feet and got the helmet off.
Now the back of his head is going to come down right there. That is always a dangerous type of play for any player. But Royal going all out trying to make that catch. And Parker gets away with one.
And Dan, now here's the thought process on 4th and goal for San Diego. They've got 8:37 to play. If you kick a field goal, you're down 9. So you still need 2 scores.
Yeah, there's really no choice here. The choice now for Rivers, do you give Floyd a shot on the fade on the outside, or do you look for your favorite touchdown maker, Antonio Gates?
San Diego came up big on 4th down last week. Can they do it again? Critical 4th and goal for the Chargers. Playoff spot on the line for San Diego. Working from the gun. Rivers fires. Knocked away. Incomplete. Antonio Gates, the intended receiver. Hussein Abdullah there for the Chiefs.
Yeah, great play by Abdullah. He knows where River wants to go with this ball when the game is on the line. He cuts in front and knocks the ball up in the air and out of the back of the end zone.
Dan, the AFC playoff picture is fluid. Baltimore has taken the lead on Cleveland, 13-10. Houston in front of Jacksonville, 21-17. Right now, Baltimore would be in with the final playoff spot. Kansas City in front, 19-7. Niall Davis is in the backfield for Kansas City. They give it to Davis, and he runs right up the gut. Forward progress will get him to the 10-yard line for a gain of 7. Thought your fantasy season was over? It's not. Play for free and you could win a trip to Super Bowl 50. Join today at NFL.com/fantasy.
Chase Daniels really cooled off here in the second half. Just 2 out of 8 for 35 yards, and 30 of those yards on that long pass to DeAnthony Thomas earlier here in the 4th.
So a 2nd and 3 for the Chiefs. We are under 8 minutes to go. Give it to Davis. Cut it to the outside. Flag thrown. 4-yard pickup, enough for a first down. It's coming back.
Yeah, they're going to get Zach Fulton for holding.
Fulton, who was limited practice this week with a foot injury. He's the rookie out of Tennessee, 6th round draft pick. four-year starter for the Volunteers. Called on that penalty. Well, for Phillip Rivers, it's a helpless feeling. So many times he's led his team back. So many big wins in December on the road. But they trail 19-7 to Kansas City. Daniel over the middle. Connects with Kelsey. Brought down at the 10. 5-yard gain. Manti Te'o was there in tight coverage for San Diego.
Seven catches now for Kelsey, 84 yards. And been very productive here in the second half for the Chiefs.
Well, this is a huge play on a 3rd and 3. San Diego needs to get the football back, and if Kansas City gets a first down, that means they get to use more clock. If you get a first down, that's about 2 minutes of game action. That comes off the clock in favor of Kansas City. On a 3rd and 3, Daniel. Incomplete. Kelsey got one hand on it, but it's 4th down, and the punting unit will come on with 6:49 left to play in the 4th.
Well, Eric Weddle came on a safety blitz, and that just sped things up for Chase Daniel. You can see he hurries this throw and gets it behind Kelsey. Trying to see if he can get a completion there. The 6-foot Daniel going airborne to see that incompletion.
Remember, Eddie Royal went out with an injury, so it's Chris Davis now in to return it. The punt from Dustin Colquitt. Regular punt returner Keenan Allen out with a broken collarbone. Davis just wants to make sure he brings it in cleanly, and he does after the 42-yard punt. Chargers have excellent field position, but they trail by 12.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by State Farm. Pump up your savings with a discount double check today. And by Subway Restaurants. Get to Subway for the new Simple 6 menu.
Back here in Kansas City, the Chiefs 19, the Chargers 7. San Diego needs a win to clinch a playoff berth. They've only got 6 minutes and 42 seconds left in the 4th. Rivers steps up in the pocket. Rivers has room in front of him. Rivers stumbles down at midfield, chased down by Tamba Hali. It's a 2-yard pickup.
Well, last possession, 4 shots to the end zone for Rivers, overthrowing Royal there, and then an apparent touchdown overruled, and then possible pass interference there, not called, and then Hussein Abdullah with the play on Antonio Gates. Chargers come away with nothing.
Clock is moving. We'll come up on 6 minutes to play. 2nd and 8 now for San Diego. They handle the rush. Rivers delivers. And he hits Ajira Tutu for a 9-yard pickup.
Remember, Keenan Allen out with a broken collarbone, and we saw Eddie Royal go to the sidelines after banging his head on the last series. So that puts Ajira Tutu in the lineup.
Good enough for a first down. 5:38 and counting left in the 4th. Shotgun for Rivers. Sideline throw is hauled in by Floyd. 7-yard pickup. NFL Today update. JB and Boomer.
Here's Tony Gonzalez's MVP.
How about J.J. Watt, guys? 3 sacks on the day, including this one that results in a safety. Texans lead 23-17. J.J. Watt, only player to have 2 20-sack seasons in history.
Iron Eagle.
All right, JB, hand off to Donald Brown. Keep in mind, Justin Houston became the 10th player to get 20 sacks in a season. He now has 21 this year with 3 sacks, and he leads Watt by half a sack for the NFL lead.
And everybody's conceded the Defensive Player of the Year to J.J. Watt, but Houston should get some votes.
We are under 5 minutes to play now. 1st and 10 for San Diego. They are inside the Kansas City 30. But they trail 19-7. Running play to Brown. Donald Brown breaks a tackle, brought down by his ankles by Kurt Coleman. 8.5-yard gain for Brown. Clock continues to roll. San Diego needed a win over Kansas City last year in Week 17 to make the playoffs. They got one in overtime. 2nd and 1. Rivers. Deep ball. Nobody home. Floyd in the vicinity. But he cut inside, and the ball floats to the corner of the end zone, incomplete.
That's one of those option routes for Floyd. He saw it to the post. Rivers saw it to the corner. And that's where Rivers threw the ball.
So now it's 3rd and 1 for San Diego. 4:04 to play. Chargers 1 of 8 on 3rd down conversions. Running play. Brown, not enough. It's 4th down. Abdullah with a stick.
Another big play for Abdullah. Knocked away the pass intended for Gates on the last series. This time playing close to the line of scrimmage. Keeps Brown from picking up the 1st down.
It's 4th down for San Diego. Give it to Brown again. He's denied. Kansas City steps up defensively. Hussein Abdullah. Another big play. They had 4th down magic a week ago against San Francisco. Today in Kansas City, the Chargers have been unable to recreate it.
Watch Abdullah. This play really had no shot at all as Poe does a great job of stuffing the center, Robinson, and then Abdullah totally unblocked here, gets penetration, and Donald Brown goes bouncing backwards.
And the frustration for Rivers and the realization that it could be over. 3:33 to play.
How many times he killed him to come back well?
Running play, Niall Davis, Cavell Connor with a hit. NFL Today update, JB, Boomer in New York.
Baltimore alive. JB cheers in Kansas City, cheers in Baltimore. Right here, Kamar Aiken on 3rd and goal, an 11-yard touchdown pass. That's Joe Flacco. 2-yard TD pass, excuse me. Ravens take the lead 20-10. San Diego loses, Baltimore wins. Baltimore gets the 6th seed in the AFC playoffs.
Iron Eagle.
Well, when you hit week 17, this is what you're looking for. All the different possibilities, and they all play out in real time in the 4th quarter in 3 games in the AFC.
And if it plays out as Boomer was just talking about, the AFC North puts 3 teams into the postseason tournament.
2nd and 13 for Kansas City. We're down to 3:28 to play. San Diego has 1 timeout left. Handoff to Davis up the middle, and he picks up 4 yards. Jamal Charles banged up. Andy Reid told us that he's not 100%. Charles has carried the ball 13 times for 54 yards. San Diego has used its final timeout, and Charles now has the winter hat on. The helmet is off. And for Charles, another 1,000-yard season, another trip to the Pro Bowl. He's a competitor, but his body has taken a pounding over the last few years.
And it's good for the Chiefs to have Niall Davis, you know, just in his 2nd year. More of a power back for Kansas City, and that's the type of runner you need in these situations when you're trying to eat up the clock.
Jenny reported earlier that the scores were not going up on the board around the league, and maybe the players didn't exactly know what the circumstances are, but the fans do.
Yeah, they can use their cell phones.
Yes, that's allowed. It's encouraged, in fact. Gift of Niall Davis, who's brought down by Eric Weddle, and with those smartphones, you're catching up on scores. And it's clear the Kansas City Chiefs fans know what the situation is. Baltimore will make the playoffs with a win if this score holds up. 19-7, Kansas City in front, and if the Ravens hold on against the Browns.
Yeah, there's still under 3 minutes to go now. Of course, the Chargers with no timeouts and got to score twice. It'll be interesting to see if they set up for a return. It appears that way right now, or do they try to block Colquitt?
Kansas City has all 3 timeouts remaining, and they'll use one of them right here. 2:35 left to play in the 4th. Well, Dan, coming up next, all the focus has been here on the AFC games. How about the NFC? The NFC South is up for grabs. The Panthers take on the Falcons. Jim Nantz, Phil Simms, Tracy Wolfson will have that one for you. The Raiders meet the Broncos. Check your local listings. The NFC South showdown, Atlanta and Carolina. Atlanta won the first meeting 19-17. The winner takes the division title and a playoff berth. Fourth down, Colquitt. Returnable for Davis. Davis has nowhere to go. Forward progress will get him to the 38, 46-yard punt. Joe Mays leading the special teams down the field for Kansas City. Now for Phillip Rivers, not the kind of day he envisioned, with a playoff spot on the line. 16 of 26, 221 yards and a pick.
Well, and sacked 6 times and harassed almost every time in the pocket, although the offensive line has done a lot better job last couple of series. The Chargers have just been turned away by this Kansas City defense.
Donald Brown in the backfield on first down. Rivers to throw it. Outside, catch made by Floyd. Floyd needs to get out of bounds and doesn't. He picks up the extra yards, but this will chew up clock.
Yeah, he did the same thing last week against San Francisco. Caught a similar route. Did not go out of bounds. Those things turned out a lot better last week for the Chargers.
They do get a playoff before the 2-minute warning. Rivers incomplete.
All right, there's nobody in that area. They may call Rivers for intentional grounding, and there's the flag.
Intentional grounding, number 16, 10-yard penalty and loss of down.
So that was a domino effect by Floyd not getting out of bounds. Rivers working quickly. Timing was off, and it costs San Diego all those yards that Floyd got. 2-minute warning. Just a minute 55 left here in Kansas City. The Chiefs 19, the Chargers 7. Eric Weddle, when we met with him yesterday, he talked about the resiliency of this San Diego team. And he and Rivers 4 weeks ago looked at the schedule and said, hey, we all know it's going to come down to the Kansas City game. And it did. Mike McCoy said that so many teams in the NFL would trade places with the Chargers with a win and you're in scenario. But San Diego is on the wrong end. Pass to Inman, loses his helmet. He's got a first down. Short of the 35. Clock is moving. We're down to a minute 40 left. Oh, it's 3rd down and 4. Oh, what a grab. Inman, terrific hands.
Yeah, he's better when the ball's away from his body. 2 catches in a row. That looked a lot like Eddie Royal last week against the 49ers, laying out and making the catch.
So that gives San Diego the first down inside the Kansas City 30. Rivers dials up the deep ball. Incomplete. Malcolm Floyd looking for position.
Boy, a lot of bumping down that sideline on Floyd by Fleming. Smart throw by Rivers. That's illegal contact right there. And again, the Chiefs get away with one. That's got to be called. In fact, that could have been pass interference. The ball was certainly in the air at that point.
Keeping you updated on those other games that affect this one. Baltimore and Cleveland, and Houston and Jacksonville. Baltimore in front and Houston with the lead. Baltimore 2 minutes away from a playoff berth if San Diego can't rally. Just over a minute left. Rivers, another one. Justin Houston, 22 on the season for Houston. That's number 4 today.
Just trying to think about getting the ball to Gates on the out and up. Good coverage there this time by. That's Ron Parker, and then the relentless pursuit by Houston.
3rd and 19. Long ball, end zone, incomplete. It's 4th down. Once again, Floyd with Fleming. 7 sacks for the Kansas City defense. Justin Houston going to the Pro Bowl for the 3rd consecutive year.
King Dunlap does a pretty good job there, and then Houston, who's rushing from the inside against Reinhardt, chases down Rivers before Rivers can launch one.
Tied for second in NFL history for sacks in a single season. Kansas City uses a timeout. Houston was converted to linebacker his senior year of college. He was a defensive end. We asked him about the switch that was made. He said he wasn't happy about it. He was comfortable at defensive end. He was comfortable with his hand in the ground. And then the first day of practice his senior year, he said to himself, you know what? I like this role, the versatility and all the different things that I can do. Obviously a linebacker here in Kansas City. Houston, a free agent, and he has topped the previous franchise record of Derek Thomas.
And they're similar style because they both have great athletic ability. Not real big guys, but tremendous pass rushers.
Danny has a chance to break the NFL record. Michael Strahan, 22 and a half. Rivers throws, caught by Inman. Down to 25 seconds left. San Diego has to get to the line quickly.
And clock this ball. This is a beautiful throw by Rivers. Great adjustment too by Inman.
Flag down. Rivers throws, intercepted, picked off by Sean Smith. Smith working the sideline. And pushed out of bounds.
And a lot of time off the clock. Would be offsides against the Chiefs.
Four seconds left. And Pete Moreeeee will huddle up with his crew to sort this one out. Like you, I thought Rivers was going to spike the ball and just get himself set. Instead, he throws it.
Offside. Number 97 came on the field late. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
So the interception is nullified.
But the time off the clock is not nullified.
And that's a killer for San Diego. 4 seconds left. And now it's just all cosmetic for the Chargers.
You got to give the Chiefs a lot of credit today for the way they fought. Both teams fighting for a playoff position here. But these are what rivalries are all about. Chargers and Chiefs have been playing since 1960. Twice a year. And they always seem to be great games.
4 seconds left in the season for both of these teams. Flag down.
False start, number 68 offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Chase Daniel in his second NFL start, replacing the injured Alex Smith, out with a lacerated spleen. Daniel will get a win. Probably should have had one last year against San Diego in week 17. Ryan Suckup missed a field goal at the end of regulation, and then the Chargers won in overtime. Baltimore has defeated Cleveland. Rivers intercepted. Kansas City has eliminated San Diego from the playoff picture. The Chiefs win it 19-7. But the Chiefs won't qualify either. The Chiefs spoiled San Diego's party, and then Baltimore stepped in and took advantage of the opening. The Ravens are in the playoffs. Baltimore joins Pittsburgh, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Denver, and New England. Those are the 6 qualifiers in the AFC. So San Diego had a win and in scenario. They come up short. It's a memorable day for Justin Houston, who finishes with 22 sacks on the season. And also a memorable afternoon for one Chase Daniel. Gets his first win as an NFL starting quarterback. Daniel, a star at the University of Missouri.
Played a very clean game, no interceptions, no fumbles. Was sacked a couple of times, but he led his team and really got him off to a great start in that first half, going down and getting 10 points on their first 2 drives. Outstanding effort.
The Chargers have walked the tightrope too often throughout the season, and this time they can't stay balanced. They're knocked out of the playoff picture. For Dan Fouts and Jenny Dale, I'm Ian Eagle. So long from Kansas City, the NFL on CBS.